Alright guys, what is going on? What's going on? Now, you probably won't be able to see my face very much in this video, but this is just basically step-by-step on how to set up your Amazon business when living in Australia. Now, it's very, very simple steps, but some people get confused as to what to do, so I'm going to run through these with you now. So, we're going to try and explain this as simply as we can, and I hope you guys can follow along, because setting up a business when it comes to Amazon is very, very important, because you're actually wanting to set up a legitimate business if you're looking to make a passive income out of it and break away from the 9 to 5. You actually are creating a business. So these steps are very, very important, and just make sure to follow along and take in as much information as you can from this video. So we're going to get right into it now. Setting up an Amazon business step by step. So what is the first step? Now, it might be self-explanatory, but it's very, very simple. The first one, it's going to write it here, is taxes. So if you're an Aussie, tax file number, make sure you have a tax file number, and GST registration. So when it comes to selling on Amazon, it is very, very highly recommended to apply for GST. Now, reason being is because Amazon will actually take a bigger cut of each sale if you don't register for GST. Now, you can register for GST when you set up your seller account. Sorry, not when you set up your seller account. When you set up your business, which is an LLC, which is the next step. So, make sure basically you have a tax file number so you can actually create your business, which is an LLC, which is in Australia in terms of the company, which we'll get into in the next step, and make sure you're registering for GST when you actually set up your company. Which brings me to the next point, which is setting up a company. So, setting up a company, that's the name, that's your ABN, and that is your GST as well. Now, basically, the reason you're setting up a company is to have a separate entity from yourself, because when it comes to selling on Amazon, and we're going to get to it in the third point as well, and this is in the fourth point, and that's your public liability insurance. Product liability insurance. So basically, when it comes to setting up a company, you need to have it there to separate your personal entity from your company entity. So if anything happens, so let's just say, if we'll explain this a bit more in a second, but let's just say if your product that you're selling harms someone, or if it causes damage, you won't be liable. Basically, your company is going to be liable for that, and that's going to save you from being sued and going through a lot of procedures, to do with the law and going through court and things like that. And you'll lose a lot of money from all the legal fees as well. So make sure you set up a company, which is your company name. You'll have to apply for an ABN as well, and that's where you apply for your GST, and you just do that voluntarily, which is your GST registration. So next thing is to set up a company. Now, setting up a company, for me, it costs about $600, so I'll write that in there as well. So $600, oops, not $6, $600, and a lot of people try and bypass this step. Now, it might be a little different if you're setting up an LLC, because when people refer to LLC when they're from America, this is the Aussie equivalent. So basically, people try and bypass this, and that leaves you basically exposed to a lot of things to go wrong down the track. Now, when I set up my Amazon business, I created a company, so I had a company name, made sure I had an ABN that was separate. I already had an ABN before, but I made another ABN for that company, and I made sure I applied for GST as well. So that cost about $600. For me, I got a bit extra on it, and just a few other documents and stuff sent to me. So that came out to about $700 for me. But that's the next step. You definitely need to create a company when it comes to selling on Amazon Australia. Now, the next thing as well, which you need to look out for, is a business bank account setup. So business say B account, setup. Now don't worry if this looks like a 4-year-old's written it. It's just my handwriting. Don't get too worried about that at all. It's nothing to worry about. I just have terrible handwriting. But next thing is to open up a business bank account. Now this is basically, so if you're making say an order on your first, if you're making a purchase on your first order, you want to make sure it goes through your business, so it's easier to basically keep a track of your taxes and any income, any cash flow. Just easier to set up a bank account. Now mine, I go through Westpac, which is an Australian bank, and it's very simple to set up. I think it only costs about $10 a month to set up, and you have basically you have some limits on how many different, I think, type of transactions you have, but it's very easy to set up. Once your bank account's set up, you can actually start, you can set up basically your bank account, your business bank account with your Amazon seller account, and it'll basically make everything very easy to keep a track of as well. So business bank account is the next thing to set up. So far we've got taxes, so make sure you've got a tax file number, setting up a company, which is name, ABN, registering for GST, so you don't get you don't have higher fees when you're selling on Amazon, and setting up a business bank account. Now the next thing as well, which is only sort of something you need to worry about down the line, but something you definitely need to take a look at, is product liability insurance. So product liability, and we'll just say an S, product liability insurance. Now, why do you need product liability insurance? So basically the whole reason why you need to set up a business, so why you actually need to set up a company for selling on Amazon, is to basically separate your personal entity and create a separate entity, so if anything does go wrong, then you are safe. Your personal identity is safe. You can't be sued, and you're not going to have to owe a lot of money to whoever is trying to sue you. So basically, product liability insurance, that is what I was talking about before, when it comes down to, so let's just say if someone buys your product, and this is going to be better off down the line when you're selling heaps of products per month, but you're going to have a higher chance of someone, so let's just say if you sell, for instance, let's just say like a kitchen item, and it's got sharp ends on it or something, and this basically a customer who's bought your product either harms himself, or does damage to something in their house, and they want to sue someone. Basically, they're going to go to Amazon and they're going to tell them about it, and Amazon's going to push them away and say no. Then basically they're going to steer them towards the manufacturer. And that's not going to be, let's just say if you order through Alibaba, that's not going to fall on them, because basically they make the product, but you are the actual manufacturer of the product. So basically you're just ordering it through them. They supply it for you, but you're the actual manufacturer and you're the one who sells it. So it's going to fall back on you. Now, product liability insurance, in terms of pricing, now I got quoted from a certain website. I think it was called Online Insurance, or Aussie Online Insurance or something, or Online Sellers Insurance. I got quoted $150 per month. Now, that's not something that you need to worry about straight away when setting up, but definitely something if you're looking to turn it into a long-term, profitable business. So basically, step by step, it's very simple. Make sure you got your taxes in line. Make sure you're going to register for GST when you create your company. So you basically have your company name. And another thing about your company name is you want to make sure, so I'll write this here, make sure that it's basically very similar or in line with your Amazon seller name. So on your seller account name, Amazon seller name. So let's just say if you're selling kitchen items, let's just say if it was like Napkin Hero or something, you're selling napkins. Your company name wants to be something like Napkin Hero Traders or something like very similar. And you say your seller name's the same. You want to have it very similar to your Amazon seller name. So once you got your name set up, make sure you've got an ABN as well, because you're going to have to basically reason for all your ABN and your business bank account and basically all your taxes in line and everything, because you have to lodge statements when it comes to taxes, and you need an Australian business number to basically have that all regulated and have it all in line, and apply with the Aussie government as well. So have an ABN as well. Make sure you apply for GST. So that's about $600. Business bank account. So we'll write the price here as well. For me, it was about $10 per month. So $10 per month. Make sure you have a business bank account set up, and then later on down the track, make sure you set up your product liability insurance. So that's basically all there is to setting up your business or your company when it comes to selling on Amazon. Very, very important steps. And what I'm going to do here as well, just type right up here, LLC. So if you hear anyone refer to LLC when they're selling from America, company is the equivalent to that. So this is basically all this info I've got from asking professionals myself, and from doing a lot of research myself, and through through personal experiences as well. So this is basically all you need when it comes to setting up your Amazon business. So if you have any questions for me about this, just leave them in the comments down below, or just contact me through Facebook. I'm more than happy to answer messages through there if you have any other questions about insurances or anything like that. But when it comes to your taxes, it's basically the same as let's just say like your personal income tax. You can lodge a yearly statement, or you can lodge one every 3 months, or like a quarterly statement as well. It's up to you, but you have to make sure that all this is in line, especially the first three, in my opinion, that they're the most important. If you guys are interested, I've got my new course. My new Amazon course is basically a step-by-step on how to get started on selling on Amazon. You don't have to have any prior experience with selling online, or creating a business or running a business at all. Basically step-by-step for Aussies on how to do so, and it'll teach you everything, getting started from stuff like this, setting up your business, and finding your product, all the way to scaling it up to 10K plus per month. So if you're interested in that, make sure to click the link down below. And there's actually a special price for the first 50 people to get in. It's $100 off for the course as well. And if that's something that either yourself or even your friends are interested in, make sure to tag them in it, or share this video to them. Just if you have any mates, or yourself that are from Australia and you want to learn how to sell on Amazon. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.